Hey there, and welcome back to Understanding Depression. Before we get started, if you find this podcast helpful, please take a moment to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Your support really helps this content reach more people who might need it. Now, wherever you are right now, maybe on a walk, doing the dishes, or just sitting quietly, I invite you to take a deep breath and give yourself permission to be here, to really be present with this topic. This episode is an important one. We'll talk about how to recognize the early signs and symptoms of depression in yourself or in someone you care about. So please try to listen mindfully with compassion and curiosity, not just to the words, but also to how they might connect with your own experience. Let's begin. How do you know if you're depressed? So, how do you really know if you're depressed? Like actually clinically depressed, not just having a bad day or feeling tired. That's exactly what we're going to explore together in this episode. Let's take it slow, talk honestly, and mindfully reflect on what depression might look like beyond the surface. Depression is often misunderstood. A lot of people imagine it as someone crying all the time, isolating themselves, or staying in bed for days. And yes, sometimes that's true. But sometimes depression wears a smile. It goes to work, picks up the kids, posts funny memes, and laughs at dinner. Meanwhile, inside there's a fog, a weight, or a numbness that just won't go away. According to mental health professionals, especially the DSM-5, depression is a diagnosable medical condition. Not a weakness, not a phase, and definitely not just a bad mood. To be considered clinical depression, these symptoms typically persist for at least 2 weeks, often much longer. And they show up in different parts of our lives, emotionally, physically, mentally, even socially. What makes it so tricky is this. Depression doesn't always look the same in everyone. Some people feel overwhelmingly sad. Others feel empty or emotionally flat. Some isolate completely, while others bury themselves in work or distractions. This is why being aware of the early signs is so important, because recognizing them can lead us to seek help sooner. And early help can change everything. Stick around because this might be more relevant than you think. What professionals use to diagnose depression? In the world of mental health, professionals don't just guess. We use something called the DSM-5. That stands for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders 5th edition. It's basically the mental health guidebook. Even though there aren't blood tests to detect depression, that doesn't mean it's vague or made up. There are very specific symptoms that we look for. Wondering if what you're feeling might match those symptoms? Let's break them down together. The 9 core symptoms of depression. To be officially diagnosed with depression, you need to experience at least 5 out of these 9 symptoms, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks. So we're not just talking about a bad mood here and there. It's something that lingers. 1. Persistent low mood or sadness. You may feel hopeless, empty, or just emotionally numb. For kids or teens, this often shows up as constant irritability instead. 2. Loss of interest or pleasure in things you used to enjoy. This is called anhedonia. Activities that once made you happy now feel like nothing. 3. Significant changes in appetite or weight. This could mean eating way more or way less than usual, or losing/gaining weight without trying. 4. Trouble sleeping, or sleeping too much. Insomnia, waking up in the middle of the night, or oversleeping and still feeling exhausted all count here. 5. Moving or thinking noticeably slower, or feeling restless all the time. Some people say they can literally feel their limbs getting heavier when a depressive episode is coming on. 6. Low energy or constant fatigue. You feel drained from the moment you wake up, even if you haven't done much physically. 7. Feelings of worthlessness or excessive guilt. You might blame yourself for things that aren't even your fault, or carry guilt that feels overwhelming. 8. Difficulty concentrating, thinking clearly, or making decisions. It's hard to focus. You forget things easily. Everything feels mentally foggy. 9. Thoughts of death or suicide. These thoughts might be passive, like, I wouldn't mind if I just didn't wake up. Or active, where someone starts planning how to end their life. The latter is a medical emergency and requires urgent professional help. Now let's talk about the quiet, easy-to-miss signs. The ones that often fly under the radar. Social withdrawal. You might start canceling plans or ignoring messages. Not out of dislike, but because even socializing feels like too much. Emotional numbness. You're not exactly sad, but you're not really anything. Just disconnected. Irritability. Depression can show up as frustration or anger, especially in men or people who aren't comfortable expressing sadness. Overworking or staying constantly busy. Always needing to be occupied can be a way to avoid sitting with uncomfortable feelings. Unexplained physical issues. Headaches, back pain, stomach problems. When no medical reason is found, sometimes emotional pain is the hidden source. Do any of those feel familiar? If yes, stay with me, we've still got more important signs to talk about. Common signs that don't always get mentioned. There are also other signs that aren't on the official list, but that I see a lot in people struggling with depression. Like how everything feels hard. Even just brushing your teeth or replying to a text can feel exhausting. Or you might cry often without knowing why. Or you get irritated super easily even at small things. And no, you're not being dramatic. These are real valid symptoms. Does that sound like something you've experienced recently? How much does it affect your daily life? Here's the key question. How much is this actually affecting your day-to-day life? Some people might have several of these symptoms and still show up at work or attend social events. On the outside, they look fine. But inside, they feel empty, like they're just going through the motions. Others might be unable to get out of bed, skip work, or stop taking care of themselves altogether. These people may need more intensive help and support to start feeling better again. Where do you see yourself on that spectrum? Or maybe someone close to you comes to mind. Let's talk about treatment. Treatment doesn't have to mean medication right away. Therapy, support groups, self-care routines, these can all be part of the process. And for some, a combination of therapy and medication is what works best. Most importantly, you're not alone, and you deserve to feel better. Catching the signs early makes a huge difference. Just like a physical illness, depression is much more manageable when treated early. Waiting too long can lead to deeper emotional pain or functional problems in daily life. So I want to ask you gently, how have you been feeling lately? Are you showing up in your life the way you want to? Or have things felt heavier, slower, or more distant? No shame. No pressure. Just honest reflection. Awareness is the first step toward healing. And being kind with yourself through that awareness, that's a superpower. Thanks so much for watching and spending time with us here at Understanding Depression. If anything in this episode resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. You never know who's quietly struggling and could feel seen just by this conversation. Disclaimer: this video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or replace professional mental health care. If you or someone you know is experiencing symptoms of depression or suicidal thoughts, please consult with a qualified mental health expert or seek immediate help from a crisis service or medical provider. You are not alone. Help is out there, and healing is possible.